Bills Mafia. What's up, family? You know this team is built on one thing: constant improvement. Every week, every practice, every snap, the Buffalo Bills are striving to get better. That's what championship-caliber teams do. And while we've seen some ups and downs early in this season, make no mistake, this organization is focused on bringing home that Super Bowl trophy. Now, before we dive into today's big story, rumors linking the Bills to superstar wide receiver Chris Olave. Go ahead and smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single update from Buffalo Beat News. Because if the latest insider reports are true, the Bills might be gearing up for a blockbuster move that could completely reshape their offense. All right, let's talk about this. Chris Olave to the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, you heard that right. The Bills are sitting among the NFL's elite after 5 weeks, led by Josh Allen, who's putting together another MVP-caliber campaign, and rookie sensation Keon Coleman. But even with that, it's no secret that Buffalo's receiving core is still searching for that one dynamic weapon on the outside to take this offense from great to unstoppable. That's where Chris Olave comes into play. According to NFL insider James Palmer, the Bills are a team to watch closely as the trade deadline approaches, and Olave could be right at the top of their wish list. Palmer dropped this nugget on NFL Insider Notebook, saying, "Would the Bills go get Olave? That's something I want to keep an eye on in Buffalo. Keon Coleman started hot, but they just can't get anybody outside the numbers to play well for them." And honestly, he's not wrong. The Bills' offense has been efficient, with James Cook running the ball well and tight ends Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox dominating the middle of the field. But what's missing is that consistent, explosive threat down the sideline. So let's break down why this rumor actually makes a ton of sense. Chris Olave, in just his 4th NFL season, has proven he's more than just a speedster. He's a true route technician. His Saints, however, are in a completely different situation. Sitting at 1-5, their season has gone off the rails. They're not playing for the playoffs anymore. They're evaluating the future. And if New Orleans decides to start retooling, Olave would be one of their most valuable trade assets. For the Bills, this could be the ultimate win-now move. Imagine Josh Allen with Olave on the outside, Keon Coleman stretching defenses vertically, Khalil Shakir working the slot, and Dalton Kincaid creating mismatches down the middle. That's not just an offense, that's a nightmare for opposing defensive coordinators. Palmer added another point that really stood out. It's something that's been bothering them for the last couple of seasons. They thought Keon Coleman would be the guy as a rookie, and that's a lot to ask. He's been up and down in year 2. They've got so much talent in the middle of the field, but not enough dominance outside the numbers. And he's absolutely right. We've seen Buffalo rely heavily on inside routes, short passes, and their tight ends. It's been effective, but predictable. Defenses know where to position safeties, how to shade coverage, and that's limiting the explosive potential we know Josh Allen can unleash. Bringing in a receiver like Olave would instantly change that. He commands safety help over the top, he forces cornerbacks to play honest, and that opens up the entire field for Cook, Kincaid, Coleman, and Allen himself. It's the missing piece of the puzzle. Now, while trade rumors swirl, the Bills still have business to handle on the field, and it doesn't get easier this week. Buffalo's defense is gearing up for a massive test against the Atlanta Falcons and their superstar running back, Bijan Robinson. Last week, the Bills actually held the Patriots to just 71 rushing yards, a solid defensive performance despite the loss. But this week, the challenge jumps to a whole new level. The Falcons boast one of the top 6 rushing attacks in the entire league, and Robinson is the engine that makes it go. The guy's averaging over 4.6 yards per carry for the 3rd straight season. And he's not just dangerous as a runner, he's deadly as a receiver out of the backfield. Bills defensive coordinator Bobby Babbage put it best. From what I've seen so far, he can do it all. He can tote the rock, he can play in the pass game, he's a slasher, a cutter, and he'll certainly be a challenge. Babich isn't exaggerating. Robinson has the second most receiving yards by a running back this season, with 270 through 5 games. That kind of versatility means Buffalo's linebackers and safeties will have their hands full all night long. Now for some good news, Bills fans. After missing the past 4 games, defensive tackle Ed Oliver could finally make his return from an ankle injury. And that's big. Oliver's presence in the... He's one of the few interior linemen who consistently commands double teams and still manages to collapse the pocket. But as Bobby Babich admitted, one player alone won't solve all the issues. Buffalo is still allowing the 5th most rushing yards per game in the league, 145.6 to be exact. That's got to improve if this team wants to make a serious Super Bowl push. If Oliver can disrupt the Falcons' inside zone runs and contain Robinson early, that'll go a long way towards helping Buffalo bounce back in Week 6. It's been 8 years since the Buffalo Bills last traveled down south to face the Atlanta Falcons. The year was 2017. Tyrod Taylor was under center, LeSean McCoy was our workhorse, and a guy named Ramon Humber was flying around at linebacker. Feels like a lifetime ago, doesn't it? That matchup wasn't supposed to go Buffalo's way. The Bills entered the game 2-1 after upsetting the Denver Broncos, while the Falcons were 3-0 and rolling. Matt Ryan, the reigning MVP, had just led Atlanta to a Super Bowl appearance the season before. The Falcons were 8-point favorites, rocking their gorgeous throwback uniforms inside the brand-new Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and everyone expected Buffalo to just show up, take their loss, and head back north. But Bills Mafia knows better. We live for the unexpected. That afternoon turned into one of the most shocking upsets of the 2017 season. From the opening kickoff, the Bills' defense came to play. Sean McDermott was still in his first year as head coach, trying to build a new culture, one centered on grit, effort, and execution. And that Sunday in Atlanta was the perfect example of what McDermott football was all about. The Falcons came in with one of the league's most explosive offenses, but early on, injuries started to pile up. Matt Ryan lost 2 of his biggest weapons, all-pro wide receiver Julian Jones and Mohamed Sanu, both going down mid-game. Suddenly, Atlanta's offense looked human, and Buffalo's defense smelled blood in the water. Eddie Yarbrough, stepping in for the injured Shaq Lawson, was relentless off the edge. He didn't record a sack, but his pressure disrupted everything Ryan tried to do. And then there was Micah Hyde, a first-year Bill who would go on to become a cornerstone of this defense, picking off Ryan twice in crucial moments. It was the first glimpse of the secondary we'd come to love over the years. Hyde and Jordan Poyer locking things down, with Tre'Davious White, then a rookie, showing flashes of brilliance. Meanwhile, on offense, things weren't exactly smooth. LeSean McCoy had to grind for every yard, finishing with 76 rushing yards on 20 carries. But Tyrod Taylor made plays when it mattered most. His connection with tight end Charles Clay was unstoppable that day. Clay torched Atlanta's linebackers for 112 receiving yards on just 5 catches, including a clutch 44-yard grab that flipped the field late in the game. And let's not forget, Jordan Matthews, in his short time with the Bills, caught the lone touchdown of the day. Then came the hero of the fourth quarter, kicker Stephen Hauschka. Hausch Money went 3 for 3 on field goals, including a jaw-dropping 56-yarder to give Buffalo the lead in the final minutes. Atlanta had one last shot, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. Ryan tried to make something happen, but Buffalo's defense stood tall. Game over. Bills win 23-17. It was one of those games that didn't just show up in the win column, it defined who the Bills were becoming. A team that refused to quit. A team that didn't care about odds, predictions, or headlines. That win in Atlanta helped propel the Bills toward breaking their 17-year playoff drought, ending the longest active streak in professional sports at the time. So here we are, 8 years later. The drought is long gone, but the mission has changed. This version of the Bills, led by Josh Allen, isn't chasing a playoff berth. They're chasing a Super Bowl. But to get there, they've got to rebound, and it starts in Atlanta once again. After last week's frustrating loss to the Patriots, the team knows they let one slip away. Turnovers, penalties, missed opportunities, it just wasn't Bills football. And you can tell that it's been eating at them all week. Now heading into Monday night's matchup with the Falcons, there's a chance for redemption and a little déjà vu. The Falcons might not be a powerhouse, but they've got some dangerous playmakers. Running back Bijan Robinson is one of the best young talents in the NFL. He's averaging over 4.6 yards per carry in his third season, and his ability to make defenders miss, both in the run game and as a receiver, is elite. Buffalo's defensive coordinator Bobby Babbage said it best this week. He can do it all. The Bills' run defense has been shaky, allowing the 5th most rushing yards per game. But there's good news on that front. Defensive tackle Ed Oliver is expected to return after missing several games with an ankle injury. And trust me, his presence in the middle is massive. He brings energy, power, and disruption, the kind of stuff that sets the tone early. Buffalo will also have to account for Drake London and Kyle Pitts, 2 athletic catch passers who can stretch the field. But if the Bills' front 7 can contain Robinson and force Desmond Ridder to throw, this defense has the tools to take advantage. On offense, Josh Allen is looking to bounce back. Despite some mistakes last week, he continues to play at an MVP level. Keon Coleman's development has been exciting, but this could be a game where Dalton Kincaid and James Cook play huge roles, attacking Atlanta's linebackers just like Charles Clay did back in that 2017 upset. And hey, don't forget, history has a funny way of repeating itself. So here's where things stand, Bills Mafia. Buffalo is still one of the top teams in the NFL. Josh Allen is playing lights out. The defense, despite some injuries, continues to fight hard. But if there's one thing that could elevate this team from contender to favorite, it's adding a dynamic weapon like Chris Olave. The trade deadline is coming fast, and GM Brandon Beane has never been afraid to make bold moves when the timing is right. Whether it was Von Miller, Stephon Diggs, or Leonard Floyd, Beane has a track record of going all in when he sees the window to win. Could Olave be the next big swing? Maybe. And if so, it could be the move that finally puts the Bills over the top. So, Bills Mafia, what do you think? Should the Bills pull the trigger and go after Chris Olave before the trade deadline? Do you think that's the missing piece Josh Allen needs to take this offense to the next level? Or would you rather see Buffalo focus on fixing the run defense first before making a big move? Drop your thoughts down below. I want to hear every opinion from this incredible fan base. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update from Buffalo Beat News, your home for passionate, insider Bills coverage all season long. Because one thing's for sure, this team's story is far from over. They're learning, they're improving, and when the playoffs come around, they'll be ready. As always, Bills Mafia, stay strong, stay proud, and go Bills!